Hi there, I'm Dale Mathis coming to you from my home studio in Sun City, Arizona, and today I want to do a brief overview of the three Roland V accordions, virtual accordions, digital accordions that I do the programming for, and these instruments are sold through Kraft Music in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So the three models are the 1X, the 4X, and the 8X. So the 1X, as far as technology, that is the oldest of the group. That model has been around, I actually don't know, it might have been 2010, 2011, somewhere in that era is when it was first introduced. And so basically, this instrument is the smallest one. It is just 14 pounds. It has a 26 note keyboard, 72 bass buttons, and it runs on 8 rechargeable batteries, or it will plug into an AC cord. Now the AC cord comes with all three models. The batteries are not included on the 1X or the 4X model. On the 8X model, it's a different electrical system, and so a battery pack is included with it from the factory. So a different system. Because the controls are different on the 1X than the 4X and the 8X, in the 1X, you just have 4 register buttons, again because you've got a small control panel, and so there's not a lot of room to put a lot of things. So like, there are bellow straps on it also. The 8X does not have bellow straps. A lot of people find that interesting, that no bellow straps, but you turn it on and wait for it to get started. And so how they get more sounds out of those 4 register buttons, the first thing I'm going to do is turn it on to the Dale Mathis user program bank 1. And in my other videos I explain this. I have 500 or more videos on the Dale Mathis Accordion YouTube channel, so there are many more explanations than this brief overview. So anyhow, right now I'm in the user 1 set. And that means that all of these sounds were programmed by me. These are not Roland factory sounds. The sounds of all 3 of these instruments from the Roland factory are rather thin and nasal. So I bolster them, make them bigger, and I think more appropriate for an American audience. But as I was explaining, the 4 register buttons. Here is register number 1 for accordion sound. You hit it again, you get a different tone. You hit it again, hit it again. So there are 4 different tones on that 1 register button. And then you go to register 2, and again there are 4 accordion tones. Register 3, there are 4 accordion tones. And in register 4, there are just 2 accordion tones. And then they have a little button here that says orchestra on it, and when you hit that, then these 4 register buttons will change orchestra sounds. So when it's just turned on, I get vibes sound, hit it again, trumpet sound, hit it again, saxophone sound, another saxophone sound, and again these are all Dale Mathis registrations. And then, so you've got 16 of those, and then here's another little button that says organ on it, and when you turn that on, these 4 become organ sounds. You don't have 16 organ sounds, you only have 4 on this guy, so it's, oops, didn't get the sound on. And one of the things that's interesting on this model is that if you hit the registration button a second time, the rotor sound will change from slow, here let's put this one on, to fast. And and that is reminiscent of the old rotary speakers or Leslie speakers that had spinning horns in them. All right, so in your left hand you have accordion sounds, but I've also included many great orchestra sounds. So string bass sound and chord sounds. So the whole instrument becomes an orchestral instrument. And the left hand can change there. You've got 3 buttons over here, but again, the 3 buttons, if you hit them multiple times, you can get multiple different orchestral sounds or accordion sounds. And let's see, other controls on this instrument. You do have a master volume control. You've got a USB port, and what the USB port does on this instrument, you can play backing tracks with this instrument. So if you record an MP3 file or a WAV file, these instruments prefer WAV files, but if you record one of those and put it in here, it will play back for you. So you can either use it as an instructional type of thing. I do have many of these files on my website, DaleMathisAccordion.com, and the majority of them are there for teaching purposes, but some of them are there, like Besame Mucho, is just a performance piece. So I have the sheet music on my website, and I've got the backing track there. So you can enjoy playing along with the band. There is also one other function here on this front panel, and that is called User Program. And these 2 functions, set memory and user program, are true across all 3 of these models. So I'm just going to turn the instrument off again and turn it back on so that you can see what user program does. User program is used to memorize every aspect of a setting. So if I set up a clarinet sound over here, and I set up a tuba sound over here, and a guitar and the chords, rather than having to look for all those sounds, I could have that pre-recorded into a user program. And the instruments that you purchase from Kraft Music with the Dale Mathis programming on them have 8 user programs by Dale Mathis already included. So when the accordion is first turned on, it's just straight accordion sound. But as soon as I hit user program, then I'll select number 1, and the left hand changed. And I get a bassoon accordion here. And if I hit the button again, I get a bandoneon. And if I hit register 2, I get a musette and another musette octave lower. Here's a master accordion. And hit it again. Now I'm going to get the orchestra sound. See, and I didn't have to hit any of these other smaller buttons. Register 4, saxophone player, or an organ sound. Okay, so that's kind of a brief overview. One other thing I'll mention right from the get-go here is that the Roland bellows do not feel like your traditional acoustic accordion. The traditional acoustic accordion, you know, like in that polka song where you say that the bellows stretch a mile. No, we don't have that on here. If you notice by looking at my hundreds of other videos, you will see that you don't have to pull the bellows very hard because you're not moving a lot of air through it. You're just actuating sensors. So the other thing that I want to talk about before I close off on the 1X model is on the bottom. You'll see in my videos that I have got 2 plugs plugged into the bottom of the instrument because this instrument does play in stereo, as do all models, so I can separate the right sounds from the left sounds. So if you listen to any of my other videos where I've got the accordion close up with the camera and you put headphones on, you can hear the separation. Many of the sounds that Dale Mathis, that'd be me, has created are voiced in stereo. So like stereo saxophones, you'll hear part of the sound in the right ear and part of the sound in the left ear, so it sounds like a sax ensemble. So if you're plugging into a video recorder, you might want to use both right and left. But if you're just plugging into an amplifier, one will do, because all sounds can be directed through one. And you've also got headphone jacks, and you can plug in stereo headphones. That turns off the internal speakers. All of the models have speakers. Now, this little guy just has a very small sound system. It's just a 7-watt amplifier. So it can't produce a big, huge, fat sound to fill an auditorium, but for most home use, it's perfect. And let's see what else have we got down here. There's also a MIDI out. So if you're used to working with other outboard MIDI equipment, or you want to use a rhythm accompaniment type of thing, that will plug in here, and you can operate MIDI modules and auto accompaniments and drums and all that kind of stuff using that. And all the models have this. And then the one other jack that's under here is the DC cord. So you do not need to run this instrument on batteries. This particular one uses 8 AA batteries, but if you're only going to be using the AC cord, don't put any batteries in, because you just don't need it. Okay, so that's my brief explanation for the 1X. The 4X is coming up next. Okay, I'm back. And now the next model. This is the middle model, the in-between model. This is the FR4X model. It's a little bit bigger instrument. It's 19 pounds. So, people will ask me, which instrument do I suggest for them? Well, I'm going to be talking about the differences as far as features in this video today. But as far as the 1X, I will usually suggest that either to someone who has no accordion experience, because that accordion will fit a child, or for someone who has a lot of weight issues and just cannot handle a heavier accordion. And actually that is where the 4X is also fitting in, because rather than being a 24 or 25 pound accordion, which a lot of the traditional acoustic accordions are, that sold by the thousands and thousands, and a lot of people just can't handle a 24 pound or 25 pound accordion anymore. So this one is just 19 pounds. And so to get the weight down, the keyboard is slightly smaller than a full-size. Full-size accordion has 41 keys. This one has 37, but it does have 120 bass keys. So that will make you feel at home. The other thing, this one still has bellow straps on it, as the 8X does not have that. And now, in your registration buttons, instead of 4 like we had on the 1X, now you've got 7. And so I'm just going to pull the straps open here and turn this guy on. You've also got more controls on the front panel. We've got a volume control, we've got a balance control, and the balance control is for balancing the left-hand sounds versus the right-hand sounds. We've got a button for that. You can do that same function on the 1X, but you've got to use the function button, and you've got to scroll through a whole list of which function you want to get at. Many of these functions that are on the front panel on the 4X are also available on the 1X, but it's more work to get at them. Alright, so we've got a volume and a balance control. We also have an outboard reverb control, so you can adjust how much reverb you want. And we've got an outboard chorus control. Now, on the Dale Mathis editions of these accordions, I've got the chorus set internally, so the outboard control doesn't do all that much for most settings, but the reverb is affected. All right, so now we have got 7 registers here, and they've also got an A-B switch. So we've got, in white print are the numbers 1 through 7, and then in blue print are the numbers 8 through 14. And basically the whole concept of 14 is in a full-size 5-reed accordion, you might have 14 register tabs on the front panel as the 8X does, because there's more room. So what they do is they give you, divide it in half. Now the Dale Mathis programming is different from standard Roland programming in that we've got these 7 buttons on the 4X, but I want to make it a completely useful set. So when I hit register number 1, I get a bassoon. But when I go and I get these variety of sounds, so you basically got a complete set of accordion sounds that you can entertain with and do a lot of different tone variations, and not one sound is so close to the other. You know, like on a lot of acoustic accordions, you might have 3 buttons that you can't really even tell the difference in sound. The audience certainly can't tell the difference in sound from one to the next. But then when I go to the B section, then I've got another bassoon reed, but it's different than the one on the A section, and then got these beautiful big fat musettes. These are all created by Dale Mathis. Okay, so we've got the 7 register buttons on this one, and then when we hit orchestra, so you have the same function. You've got an accordion button, an orchestra button, and an organ button. In this one, the orchestra, you get just one sound. If you hit the button again, it doesn't change anything. And you also have a screen up on top of the 4X, and it gives me the name of the sound that's playing. So when I hit that register number 1, it tells me that it's a guitar sound. When I hit register number 2, it's one of the Dale Mathis Cordovox sounds. I did a lot of special programming on the 4X and the 8X to create sounds that people love but are not offered by Roland. So I went into the editor and created a lot of these beautiful, wonderful sounds that you cannot get anywhere else but a Dale Mathis edition accordion. And of course the Dale Mathis edition accordions are only available from Kraft Music in Milwaukee. So we've got, again, this whole variety of orchestral sounds. And one of the things I'll tell you is that the editor on the 4X is so much more capable than the editor on the 1X. So a lot of the sounds that don't come off real well on the 1X, I've been able to fix those. And some of those sounds are like the guitar sound that plays perfectly when you hit the keys on the 1X, because the original concept was for playing on a keyboard where you put your body weight into it. On the accordion, they're just more difficult to play. So I don't often pull those up on the 1X model, where on the 8X or 4X model rather, they work perfectly. I also created a Hawaiian guitar for the 4X. And that's a sound you cannot get from Roland. And then in the organ section here again, we get a nice variety of organ sounds. Much greater than the sounds that are available on the 1X. And then the other thing that's very cool about the 4X accordion is that it's very easy to combine sounds. So like if I take this bassoon accordion sound and I take the Cordovox organ sound, I can easily combine them by just hitting 2 buttons together. Okay, then there is a lot more memory on the 4X than the 1X. The 1X rather, had 8 user programs. The 4X has 98. And Dale Mathis, that'd be me, has programmed all of them, all 98 slots, to very, very useful sound combinations. And if you look at, I've got 500 other videos. If you look at these other videos, you'll see that they're set up in a way that you can make a complete band. So in one of the programmings, you might, if you're doing oompa sounds, you might have an accordion on number 1, a trumpet on number 2, clarinet on number 3, and big master accordion on number 4. All the sounds that you would need in the orchestra for those sounds. All right, let's see. Oh, power-wise on the 4X, it uses 10 rechargeable batteries. And again, you don't have to use batteries. If you plug an AC cord in, if you just want to sit in one place all the time and play your accordion, you don't put any batteries in. It's just better to play it on the AC cord. And also, you've got a USB port on this instrument. Now, the USB port on the 4X is much more functional. You can back up all of your programming on the 4X. So all the Dale Mathis special programming, or if you create any of your own registrations, all of that can be backed up. So if for some reason you foul up everything, you can always get back to normal. On the 1X, that is not possible in the set programming, but it is possible in the user program settings. And also the backing tracks can be used on this instrument. And let's see, what else should I talk about? I think for this basic explanation, that's enough. I just want to show you the bottom of the instrument again. So a similar thing, right and left audio outputs, headphone jack. Now this one does have an input jack. There was a module, a backing track, not a backing track, but an auto accompaniment module that Roland made a few years ago, where if you held the bass and chord button over on your left hand side, it would do all the bass parts for you automatically and play the drum sounds and all that. And instead of having to plug that into an amplifier, you could just plug it back into the accordion again, so that all the sounds would come through the accordion. And then there's a computer jack on this model. The editor on the 4X is far, far advanced over the 1X. So all the editing on the 4X is done live. So when I plug the accordion into a computer, all the controls are right there on the computer screen, and all the changes that I make I can hear by playing the instrument. Where on the 1X it's guesswork. You have to just assign things, and then you have to take the USB stick and put it into the 1X and see if it turned out to be the right thing or not. And let's see, again, we've got the MIDI in and out jack. Here's the AC plug. And again, this is a very, very popular model. It's got really great tone. It's a bigger amplifying system. It's 11 watts versus the 7 watts on the 1X. And for folks who can't handle a full-size instrument anymore, this has been a very popular choice. All the Roland accordions come with shoulder straps. They all come with an AC cord. They all come with a manual. And of course, the accordions sold through Kraft music all come with Dale Mathis special programming that makes it a far superior instrument from what you get from the factory. And you get the after-purchase support by Dale Mathis. One other thing I need to quickly mention, difference between the 1X and the 4X, is that on the 1X model, Roland made samples or recordings of 16 different accordions. On this model, they made samples or recordings of 67 different accordions from around the world. So there's a Tex-Mex accordion, there's an Irish accordion, there's a German accordion, there's English accordions, there's French and Italian, and all these different countries that they recorded different accordions. And in addition to that, Dale Mathis made up, it's 4 or 5 or 6 sets of my own to make this a completely unique sound instrument, more usable than what you get from Roland Corporation. So, all right, I think that is enough that I want to cover on the 4X, and we're going to go to the, I'm sure I've missed stuff here. At the end of this video, I'm going to put a link to an older 4X, 8X video, comparison video that I did several years ago. So there will be a lot more information on that one. All right, so next up is the 8X. All right, I'm back again. And in this segment, we're going to talk about the flagship instrument, the Roland FR8X. So the FR8X, some inside information is that this accordion was originally created and released in the United States in 2013. And the 4X actually has the same motherboard circuit board in it. That model came out in 2016 when the 3X model, which was the same size as the 4X, when Roland felt that they needed to replace that, rather than doing a lot of R&D work to create a whole new wheel, so to speak, they just took the 8X circuit board, motherboard, and they turned off a huge chunk of the functions. So on the 8X, all the functions are here. So there are many different things. First of all, we'll talk about the size of the instrument. This is a full-size accordion. It's 26 pounds, 11 ounces, I believe. And on this one, a really great function is that the battery pack stays in the accordion all the time. On the 1X and 4X models, the little AA batteries, you have to take them out to recharge them. And of course, that's how they get the weight down, where the battery pack on this instrument weighs 3.5 pounds, so that adds weight to the instrument. But a very cool thing about it is because you don't take the batteries out, it has a port on the bottom where you plug the charger in, and then it has a button right here, and you just hit charge and the system charges, and you don't have to do any messing around with batteries. So that is really a time saver for the 8X model. And as far as the weight, yes, it's almost 27 pounds, but if you're primarily a player who sits down and plays, it's not that big an issue. So at least I don't find it to be. You do have extra weight on your chest, of course. Another thing that is different is the width of the keyboard is bigger on the 8X versus the other models, and that's because you've got these chin switches on here. And chin switches, like you see on European accordions, what they do is they change the registration. So if you're busy with your hands, I think I can see. I don't use them, but let me just show you. Okay, I guess I've got them turned off. All right, so I'm not going to worry about it. But you could change your registrations by using your chin. And on the 8X, because it's a digital instrument, these chin switches can also be programmed for like 40 or 50 different functions. You can change the rotor speed, you can, if you're using an automatic accompaniment device, you can set endings and start times and just a whole host of functions. Now, this is the palm bar, and that is extremely useful on the 8X model. It is not on the 4X or 1X models. And what it does is, if I take an orchestral sound and I hit the palm bar, it'll switch back to accordion. So I can take any accordion sound and hit the palm bar, and it will go back to the orchestral sound that I've picked. So if I pick a different orchestral sound and hit the palm bar, And you'll see in my hundreds of other videos that I use this palm bar a lot because it makes orchestrating and changing sounds very, very easy. Now on this instrument you've got all 14 buttons right on the panel, whereas on the smaller instruments you have to either split them up or the buttons have to do more than one function. On this model, on the accordion sound, it just plays accordion sound. Now, here, a big change is that you've got two orchestra divisions. So, Orchestra 1 gives you 14 sounds, and here, let me just do a demonstration. I hit register number 5, I'm going to hit it again. So, on the 8X model, each of the orchestra buttons has 2 sounds on it, so you get 28 sounds for Orchestra 1. And in Orchestra 2, you get another 28 sounds, and you can combine them. And that is how I get all the stereo voicing on the 8X model. So, like, give you an example. Here is saxophone sound in Orchestra 1, and in Orchestra 2, I've got another saxophone sound, but it's playing over here. And if you listen to any of my videos in stereo with headphones on, you can hear that the voices are separated, and it gives you this effect of an ensemble playing. It's really quite beautiful and wonderful when you're sitting here playing the instrument, because I'm hearing the sounds here and hearing the sounds here. All right, so a lot more memory on this instrument. I mentioned on the 1X model we had 8 user programs. On the 4X model, we had 98 user programs. On the 8X model, we've got 1,400 user programs. And because there's so much memory, Dale Mathis, that'd be me, has programmed a lot of stuff into the Dale Mathis edition accordions. So there are, I believe I've used up 48 of the banks of the 100 banks. So there are 100 banks, and each bank has 14 registers, so 100 times 14 equals 1,400. And so I've got several oompa banks, and a couple of liturgical banks, and several big band banks, and quite a number of banks dedicated to just one song. So like all my Star Wars stuff, I use several buttons just to do Star Wars stuff, and you get all of that with the accordion if you want to do your own Star Wars music, or just a lot of individual songs. Okay, so more things. There are more controls on the front panel. So now we've got a reverb control, we've got chorus control, we've got an effects control. That is a huge difference in the 8X model. I believe there are 64 special effects in the computer on the 8X. So things like slap reverb and distortion effects and the Leslie Rotor effect and all of that. Many more possibilities for controlling it. And then here, this is a big difference. Up on top of the instrument, we've got a nice color screen, and it gives you the whole set of information of what sounds are turned on. And as you hit different things on the panel, it changes to tell you what you've just turned on. Let's see, what else do I need to tell you? Oh, big sound system in here. This one is a 25 watt sound system versus the 11 watt sound system on the 4X. So like when I was doing beer gardens, Oktoberfest beer gardens, the place that I played for many years, you could easily have 100 people sitting in this outdoor dining area. And this accordion has got a lot of power, the way that Dale Mathis has it programmed. From the factory, this accordion is an absolute wimp. I don't think it's actually even playable. But this is so many possibilities if you know how to edit the accordion. So I have spent thousands of hours recreating this entire instrument, changing the tonality, creating a lot of new sounds that are not available from Roland. So this is really quite a marvelous performing instrument. Let's see, what else should I talk about? Oh, I should just, I guess I've missed it on all of these videos so far. All of the instruments, you can have drum sounds over here on your left hand. So like, I'm just going to turn on some orchestra sounds, and now I'll just add the drums. So these drum sounds, they're, it's somewhere between 200 and 300 different types of drums. You know, bass drums, snare drums, cymbals, castanets, jingle bells, just all different things, different kinds of tom-toms, and they're programmable into the bass and chord buttons. So if you want different kinds of bass drums and snare drums and hi-hats and all that kind of thing, all of that can be stored into the memory on the accordion, and I've done a lot of that. So you'll see when you go through the Dale Mathis user programs, as you hit the different registers, the drum sounds will change on the left hand. I don't know if I've done any on this particular set. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. So on register number 1, I've got drums. On register number 2, I don't have them turned on. Register 3, don't have them turned on. See, on that one, I've just got a snare drum and no bass drum. There's some cymbals. So this instrument has got a lot of memory on it, and I can make a complete set of sound for just one register. That is a limitation on the 1X model. The editor on there is very limited, so I cannot, like if I make a change to the saxophone, it affects all the vibratos all over the instrument. Where on here, I can just change one example and it will set for just that one sound. So it's much easier to program, and you can just do much more with it. Let's take a look on the bottom here. Again, pretty much the same as on the 4X. The right and left audio output, headphones, the computer control. This is all live. When I do the editing, it's all live, so I can hear what sound changes I'm making. MIDI in and out for controlling modules, or if you want to go into studio editing, studio recording, you can record direct MIDI right into your computer system on this model. And then this is the power cord. So I think that, one more thing better cover. Notice there's no bellows strap on this one. There's a motor in this instrument, and you set, there are many different kinds of bellow control settings, and the motor helps control that. So it sets different types of bellow function, how easy, how hard. Oh, and a really important one is that this keyboard is touch sensitive. So let's put on, hear how the pitch dropped? That's by how hard you push the keys. And when you've got the organ on, let's pick a sound here. Oops, let's get the organ back on. Gotta find the right example. There we go. So the organ Leslie rotor is controlled by how you touch the keys. And I can have the organ on and then just hit the palm bar, and it will go to accordion. So you will see many of these things used in my other hundreds of videos, and you're also going to see here at the end of this video the comparison of the 4X and 8X models that I did several years ago. So there's a lot more information, stuff I probably missed here. So thank you so much for watching. Again, all the Dale Mathis instruments are sold only through Kraft Music in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Here's their information. And if you've got questions about a Roland accordion that I can answer, you know, if you're in the market for one, give me a call. Here's my Arizona phone number. So thanks again. Please subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you again.